Hey everybody, this is Heidi Bushback from St. Paul, Minnesota, and you're listening to the Charlotte Mason in the City podcast, the show that discusses how we practice Charlotte Mason in the city. But not only that, we also bring Charlotte Mason's life-giving principles to the people of the city, both young and old, and we hope that you'll enjoy our podcast today. Hello, and welcome to Charlotte Mason in the City with Heidi Bushback. I wanted to just share a little bit more about why I began this podcast and why I want to share with my Charlotte Mason community. I have been studying Charlotte Mason since 2009. Nancy Kelly in Minnesota is one of my mentors, and I was encouraged by her to use Charlotte Mason when my oldest daughter was 5, and then I soon after, a couple years later, started a Charlotte Mason co-op, and that's been going for about 14 years, and I ran that. And then in 2021, I was able to help start a small micro school with a woman in St. Paul, Minnesota. And then following that, I was able to substitute teach at an inner city farm school in Wisconsin for a semester. And I worked with inner city boys that live in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, but are bused down and live at the school each week and learn how to farm and learn how to learn. And I was asked to help implement some Charlotte Mason principles at that school in the fall of, in the fall of 2022. And so after coming home from that experience, I have continued to feel compelled, as I have for quite some time, to start an inner city Charlotte Mason school in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. And one of the things that I actually have in Charlotte Mason's volumes that I have read for my Charlotte Mason book study, volume 6, called A Philosophy of Education. In the introduction, at the end, she talks a little bit about bringing education to all people. And I have a side note that I wrote in my book with big question marks around it that says Inner City School 2016 ? So I wrote that about 8 years ago, and I've been praying about it since, and the Lord has given me these opportunities to run a co-op and to help start a micro school and then to substitute teach at an inner city school. I worked with inner city kids in Seattle in college at the Youth with a Mission, with Union Gospel Mission, and it was a really good experience, and that's probably what initially began my desire to work with children in the city. And in many, many ways, I would like to live out of the city and get a farm and maybe start my own farm school someday. But in the meantime, I think I said recently somewhere else that we live in the city and the Lord has put us in the city, and we work with city kids regularly. So I'm going to read to you a portion of the introduction from Charlotte Mason's A Philosophy of Education, Volume 6, where she has these ideas and where I have my note from 2016. It says, I have in this volume attempted to show the principles and methods upon which education of this sort is being successfully carried out, and have added chapters which illustrate the history of a movement, the aim of which is, in the phrase of Comenius, all knowledge for all men. As well as these, I have been permitted to use criticisms of various teachers and directors of education and others upon the practical working of the scheme. And this is the paragraph where I have my note. It is a matter of rejoicing that the way is open to give to all classes a basis of common thought and common knowledge, including a common store of literary and historic allusions, a possession which has a curious power of cementing bodies of men, and, in the next place, It is enormous gain that we are within sight of giving to the working classes, notwithstanding their limited opportunities, that stability of mind and magnanimity of character, which are the proper outcome and the unfailing test of a liberal education. And so when I read that, I highlighted some things that stuck out to me that we should rejoice. She said it was a matter of rejoicing. In the previous paragraph, she said, all knowledge for all men. And this is a matter of rejoicing because a way is open to give to all classes a basis of common thought and common knowledge. And so when I read that, I thought, we should rejoice when we think of this educational way that can provide common thought and common knowledge to all classes. And so when I live in the city and I see all different classes of people living around me, and I think about providing a living education to them that gives them joy and hope, not just in the Lord, but also in understanding common ideas that have been true for men throughout the ages. She says a common store of literary and historic allusions. We want all children and all adults really to have a common store of literary and historic allusions, to be able to understand history and literature and to understand these themes and ideas that are true throughout time. And it says that then we give the working classes stability of mind and magnanimity of character. So realizing that a living education, which gives people these common ideas, helps them to be more stable in their mind and also have a magnanimous character, to be great of character, to serve their community, to love other people, to be good citizens. And that is actually the outcome and the unfailing test, she said, of a liberal education. And throughout her volumes, she talks about how a liberal education is a broad education where children learn about all different sorts of things and have relationships with so many different types of things. And so when we grow up in this broad, vibrant, exciting education where we read stories, we read history, we sing music, we dance to songs, we play instruments, we study art, we go to museums, we read poetry, we act out Shakespeare, all of these different parts of an education. We love math. We think that math is a beautiful mountain and a challenging, rigorous climb up a hill that even every step brings us higher and higher, and that math helps us to understand absolute truth, which helps us to understand there's a God with absolute truth, and that we can explore science and nature, all of these things. It's so broad and it's so beautiful. And when we give that to children of the working class, that this brings their mind stability and it gives them a bold character, a magnanimous character. That's beautiful, because what that means is the things that I want to offer my children in my Christian community or in my home where I love my children and I want to serve them well and help them to grow up into adults that not only love God, but love people in their community and want to serve, and they want to be a part of their community, and they want to learn because they love learning. Those are things I want my own children to have, but I have served so many children in the city who are missing those things. And so, I could be a missionary in my community and I could go out and I could tell them about my faith and I could try to encourage them in that. But sometimes alongside that, I think that they need to have a vibrant education, which gives them encouragement, which lifts up their mind and their soul, and it helps them to understand that there are people like them who've gone before them, who have suffered, who have gone through difficult things and have risen above that. And we need to offer that hope. It's our hope in Jesus is a hope that is full, it's vibrant, and education should support that. And knowing that Charlotte Mason felt this way has always been an inspiration to me, because I love the children of the city, and I love the children that are struggling, or from a family with a single mom who's really having a hard time. And not only do the children need that kind of education, but also the parents need that kind of education. And often they haven't had it either. And so I want to envision a space where faithful homeschool moms who love Charlotte Mason and love God are willing to step outside of themselves and challenge themselves, and to be brave and to be courageous, and to think, how can I bring this type of education to my community? How can I bring this living, vibrant type of education to the children down my street who don't know that it's fun to learn, or to the mom or the dad or the coworker or whoever, that going to a Shakespeare play and reading a Shakespeare play teaches us things about life and about truth, and that it's funny and it's engaging. And that's just really missing in our culture. And people are really sad, and people are really anxious, and people are really lonely. And I think it's really sad when Christian homeschool families focus so much on themselves and their children that we fail to remember the Great Commission to go out into all the world and to preach the good news. And the good news is not just that Jesus saves us from our sins. The good news is also that he gives us new life, and it's life abundant, and not just life when we get to heaven, but life now. And he doesn't promise us perfection or to be free of suffering, but we can have spiritual, internal vibrancy. And when we give a Charlotte Mason living education to children, and they have stability of mind and magnanimity of character, they have these common thoughts from all of history, they are lifted up, and they have something to pull from. They have knowledge that they can base their hope on, that other people have gone through the things that they have and have not given up, and have continued on and done great things. And so sharing this body of knowledge with friends and family and children in our cities who are suffering is so important. So as I end my thoughts here, I did a practice podcast with one of my inner city students who's now a freshman in college, and he is a delight and a part of our life, and has been for about 2.5 years. And we were just practicing using a nice microphone for this podcast. And so some of the parts of the interview that we did are somewhat serious, and some of it is rather silly because we're just kind of playing around. But I wanted to share it with you because I think it's a picture of what a living education can bring to students, and it's a picture of how we go about it. It's not just some sort of formulaic program, but it's a relationship. And our family has built a relationship with this student, and we've brought him to plays, and we've brought him to museums and music concerts, and we've invited him into our church community, and he's attending a Bible study with RUF, our campus ministry that our church supports, and he is able to attend college and continue his education. And so this is an example of relationship building that we can do as homeschool families to try to bring light into dark and hard places, and to bring friendship and support to people who have had some rough times. And I hope it's encouraging to you. I don't know how great the audio is. We recorded it with a really nice microphone, but he struggles a little bit with attention and wanted to fidget, and was playing with a wooden game I had. And so there's some background noise, of course, with this marble thing he was playing with while we were talking. But I hope that you enjoy the conversation, and I hope that you're encouraged by some of these thoughts today. And I hope that as I interview other friends and guests who have learned how to live with Charlotte Mason's principles, I hope that it's encouraging to you. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. This is Charlotte Mason in the City with Heidi Bushpack. And I have a special guest here today for my first podcast. His name is Chris. We're friends. And the reason that I'm starting this podcast is because I have a vision to start a small inner city Charlotte Mason school. So if you're listening and you know who Charlotte Mason is, that's great. If you don't, another podcast will inform you more about who she is. But I've got my loon shirt on, and my loon shirt is because I'm in Minnesota. And in Minnesota, we have the best Charlotte Mason retreat in the world. My inspiration, Nancy Kelly, she organizes the Living Education Retreat. So here I am. I didn't actually mean to wear this, but I did. And the reason I'm interviewing this young man today is because he is actually part of my inspiration. In 2016, I read in Charlotte Mason's first volume about how education should be a liberal education for all, which means that every child should have access to a living education. And a couple years ago, I got to be a substitute teacher for Chris. So do you want to tell us about how we know each other, but scoot forward because the light needs to illuminate your face.
The farm?
Yeah, can you elaborate further?
Farm school.
Scoot forward.
Oh, I can't.
You don't have to say very much about it or go in depth, but just share how we know each other.
Heidi was my substitute teacher at Hope Farm School, which is the school I went to all of my high school.
Yeah, and what was it like?
School on a farm. It was like a boarding school.
Okay.
Stayed there 5 days a week.
You lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we live? St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Yeah.
The Twin Cities. We live in the Twin Cities. And, but where's the school?
Pepin, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
About an hour, 30 minutes away.
So we were down there. And the reason that I actually was inspired to do this podcast was because about 2 years ago, in the fall of 2022, when I was substitute teaching at his school, our family moved to the farm and we're there. And one day I took Chris and another student to the art museum, the Minneapolis Institute of Art. And you want to tell about what you did? We'll show the film at the end of this because it's so great. But what I saw in this moment was that these two young men were engaging in this art in probably the best way I had ever seen. And so Chris grabbed the camera and he made a little film, and the two of them did a picture narration, but maybe ghetto style. That's not the right word. No, I don't want to be offensive. But I don't call my clothes a fit. I don't know. That's how they were talking about a medieval painting and analyzing the clothing of the medieval painting. And so at that moment I thought, these two need to be on my podcast. So I've been dreaming of this day for 2.5 years because I knew that they loved art and they loved history and they loved Shakespeare and they loved to learn.
Not Shakespeare.
You've gone to many plays with me. You like theater.
Doesn't mean I liked it.
You like theater.
I like the goofy ones, like Overboard or whatever.
He likes theater. Anyway.
Hamlet almost died.
The reason that I want to do this is I want to gather a community of people who care about teaching all children. And I think that when my kids graduate in 5 years, I need money to start a school. So there it is. I need money, folks. And the way that we have support of a small Charlotte Mason inner city school is to have a community of people who love kids like this. So I don't know, tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like what was your favorite subject in school?
Lunch, recess.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Everybody always says that.
Mm-hmm. And
you're in college right now.
Yeah.
At St. Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And how's that going?
Horrible. I hate it.
But you're going to be
I'm going to be the first generation college student.
To graduate?
Well, I am a first generation college student.
From your family?
Yeah, I'm going to be the first to graduate.
And it's going to be amazing.
Sure.
And we're going to be proud of you.
Sure.
And so you were thinking marketing, but what have you been thinking about lately?
Marketing is very, very boring.
You like people,
Yeah, but like now, I don't want to sell stuff to them.
You want to sell stuff? Well, you could sell education. You could sell, like, self-care. No, what were you thinking? You've been thinking about something else.
Social work and education.
And why would you be thinking about that?
I don't know. Sounds kind of fun.
Why?
Because, I don't know. Too many questions.
Too many questions. Well, is there anything about your life that you appreciate that has brought you to where you are today, where you feel like you've learned some things?
Yeah, my bed has been a really important part of my life.
Your bed?
Yeah.
Oh, how come?
Yeah, I just it's there for me every night, always warm, cold sometimes, always there, doesn't leave,
You enjoy sleeping?
I enjoy sleeping a lot.
Oh,
it's been rough.
Good. Oh, look how we're so blurry. What happened? We moved back or something. That's not good. I was looking away from the camera far too long and listening to my guest here, and our camera got blurry. So, teenage boys often like their beds. It's a cozy, sleepy place to stay when you stay up too late playing video games.
I would never do anything of the sort.
The reason that I wanted to interview you and the reason that I thought about starting a podcast is I think that your face is too dark and you need to move towards the light. Move towards the light. Oh, moving towards the light.
No!
Moving towards the light, that has a philosophical meaning. What do you think that means?
I think I should just be darker. Maybe keep the light from glistering on my little earrings.
So what... Like, have you been through anything that you've learned from that you think you could offer to our guests? Like, some words of wisdom.
Maybe don't go to that farm school. Don't go to a boarding school. It sucks. Especially an all-boys boarding school. It's horrible. All right.
College is better because there's girls.
And you can go home every day.
Yeah.
Don't have to be stuck with the people you have school with.
Except that you had good friends there.
The farm?
Like, living with kids from other families, what did you learn? I mean,
being a leader to all sorts of people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Catering to everything they need, or being aggressive with some of them, matching their energy, and being gentle to some of them. Maybe some need more pushing, so you work with them more.
Yeah. And you learned that more as you got older in high school. And you were helping lead? Yeah. Or even when you were younger? I don't know.
Yeah.
Why do you think me starting a school could be helpful here in the city? I would like to run a farm school, but right now we live in the city, so that's the way it is. So there are kids who can't go to the farm. A farm school can't serve everyone. And you experienced Charlotte Mason enough with me.
Did I? Have I?
Well, you know what narration is and stuff.
Sure.
So, why? I don't know. Why would some of that be good for kids in the city?
Some people that don't pay attention or pay attention but have to be doing something. I feel like it helped me. Can I get that tic-tac-toe? I need knickknacks.
What?
I need knickknacks.
Oh, he needs a fidget. Why would you need a fidget? You want to tell me about these?
No,
Just be careful, those break.
These are coasters?
Yeah, and one of them is broken. But fidgets are really good. And one of the things I learned teaching Chris was just that, and I learned about myself and I learned about parenting my own son, is that, I bet this can be really noisy in our recording, but boys especially need to move, need to fiddle, need to do stuff, to pay attention. And I was much more charitable towards my own son after I taught at the farm, because I learned that I was harder on him than I was on my other students. So I had to kind of repent of that and come home and find books and materials that were better suited for my son's learning, and not feel so constrained to just read and narrate strictly like I had been able to do with my daughters.
Because we are not the same.
No, you aren't the same. But like, what if somebody your age? Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so loud. Because we have a real microphone we're trying out. What if?
Get that
What
one.
if? What if somebody your age, like, happens to pop on this interview and watch it?
That kid is crazy, huh?
I don't know. Do you have a message to say to people your age about
Have a plan before you leave school.
this generation?
Oh man, you guys suck. We suck. My bad.
Why?
I don't know. We don't take anything seriously.
Don't take things seriously?
No.
Oh. Well,
Whoopsies.
what do you think what are some of the things that you think that your generation should take more seriously?
I think video games. I think we need to get on that grind. Maybe.
Play more video games?
Yeah, we need to play more.
Oh. That's an interesting thought. Why do you think that?
Because I'm gotta be on that grind.
Okay.
Okay, I have 8 days in Minecraft. Like real human days.
Okay.
I think,
How is that impacting your savings account?
great. I'm not making enough money. I need to make more money. So, I just need to stop spending money on food. Eating out. Because, very easy. And
So,
I need to work more. And to do that, I need to get out of the house. You're missing a few.
one of the things that you learned from the farm was how to cook in a real kitchen.
I guess I can do that.
You could cook, you could muffle this or something. This is a loud fidget with a microphone. I'm sure this is going to pierce everyone's ears that is listening to this.
It's fine. You'll be okay.
I think probably one thing I've learned from this first interview is to prepare questions ahead of time
Here you go.
so that we have a more thoughtful direction.
Alright, you go first.
I can't do an interview and play tic-tac-toe
Why
at the
not?
same time.
You can't do that? Ugh.
I don't know. Who can do that?
Nah, I wonder who would be able to do that.
Well, this is also confusing because look at our board. It already has things on there, so it's going to make me want to place it. Does this work? Put the cross on the O. No. No, it doesn't feel right, but I'm going to do it.
Come on, you're gonna lose.
Am I?
I think it's a cat's game. It's a cat's game.
Because we're both smart. But he could beat anybody in chess. What have you learned from chess?
I learned that I'm actually really bad at chess.
Oh.
I'm better than, beginners.
But when you play more advanced players online, you're not doing so hot? Or what?
Well, I also move really fast.
So, will you tell me one thing? You don't have to go super deep and private, but one thing about your family life that maybe has impacted who you are today?
I won, by the way.
I wasn't even playing. But, what's something that you experienced as a young man that has impacted who you are today, good or bad? And, I don't know, that it might inspire other people who listen to, I don't know, just think about their life.
Look at what people are doing around you. Observing what, some people have done and see what they're doing with their lives now. It's like people, maybe that graduated a year before you, which is what I did, and look at what they're doing and the path their life is taking, and then look at what I can do to change that and make it so that I have a better,
Outcome.
education and can get a better job, or do something that I really enjoy doing instead of just being stuck at a 9 to 5, or working late hours or doing something that I really don't want to do. So
I've been thinking about the word impact lately, and I guess because I want to start a school, I want to have bigger impact in my community. What?
Whoopsies.
Do you have any inspiration for people your age on, like, are there important things to think about as far as making impact?
Oh, I missed a piece. Um, get outside, run a little bit. It feels good.
For yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, like, impact on
Others?
other people.
I don't know, be self-centered or something, I don't know.
Be self-centered?
Don't be self-centered. Maybe learn to be confident in yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
I know I used to be, very timid.
You used to be?
Yeah. And then I was like, who really cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it spiraled out of control.
What do you mean by that?
Feels like a therapy session. Oh, 16 minutes.
Well, we
I
gotta...
tried.
Okay, well, that wraps up episode 1. You'll have to let me know in the comments how it went.
Pilot episode.
Pilot episode. It's the best one ever. I think I have a lot to learn. Prepare questions. Fix my hair. Tell my guest to fix his hair.
Hey. Let me get some fidgets ready. Maybe have the camera a little bit higher.
A quiet fidget, because tic-tac-toe is a really loud fidget. So then we learn how to edit this and get an RSS feed and all the things that moms don't know how to do. And then we start the podcast. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time on Charlotte Mason in the City. Oh, we're so good.